Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? We're doing very, very well. Now, we've got, can you believe it, another unboxing to do. Oh yes we have. Yep, your friend of mine, you know him, you love him. Steve 007 Smith, super channel contributor, has been at it again. He's been tinkering with his little elves. No, he's not been tinkering with the elves. He, alongside the elves, has been tinkering to create some more majestic artwork on a canvas. And you know the normal score for this. He sends me the canvas, he sends me some clues, and I've got to try and work out what the movie is that's inside the box. And, well, this time, there's no clues, because he basically told me. He basically said exactly what it is. And it's Star Trek the Motion Picture. Well, at least that's what we think it is, because you know, when you've been watching all these videos, that I tend to guess from the clues, no matter how obscure they might be, because we're in the same sort of telepathic wavelength, I always do seem to work it out. And it maybe now is the one time that he lies to me. And he basically says, it's Star Trek the Motion Picture, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And, but really, what's in here might be something like Herbie Goes Bananas, or Flashdance, or The Muppet Christmas Carol, you know. He said to me, put your Star Trek Captain Kirk uniform on. And you know what? There it is. Now, okay, that's the revamped, that's the Chris Pine, J.J. Abrams Star Trek sort of regulation uniform, Starfleet captain's tunic. And I was wearing it, but believe it or not, it's absolutely freezing cold. It's perishing, and it was a bit of a nipple-tastic sort of chesticle frenzy. So no, no. Even with the t-shirt underneath, no. These were like bullets. So yeah, I mean, it's springtime, aren't we? We've had a week or two of really gorgeous weather, and then today it's absolutely freezing. Anyway, it's very cold in space, So, I'm playing Jerry Goldsmith's fantastic score for Robert Wise's 1979 opus of Star Trek the Motion Picture. Star Trek the Slow Motion Picture. Star Trek the Motion Sickner. There's a lot of different variations that people have come up with for this movie, because it is not the fan favourite. We know it isn't, because it is very slow. And it is Gene Roddenberry given a lot of money and finally be able to kickstart his brainchild, his galactic, fantastic sort of idea for the future of Star Trek, and give it a whole new push into the big cinematic realm. We're going for phaser 2 of Star Trek on a TV sort of mentality basis. But that didn't happen, so then they got the money, and the script went through a lot of permutations, a hell of a lot. And as I said before, it basically takes in a few episodes from the vintage Star Trek original series and 2001: A Space Odyssey, quite a fair bit. I love it. I understand why a lot of people don't like it. There's hardly any action. There's hardly any humour in it. It's big on awe and wonder and grandiose visuals. Doug Trumbull's fantastic visuals and Goldsmith's majestic score just combine to create the cosmos and take you through it. I don't mind if it went on for like another 6 hours of just travelling through Voyager, the cloud, which is coming back to Earth. It's not really Voyager, it's Voyager. It's a space probe which we launched, and it's gone out into the realms of the outer reaches of the universe, met a robotic society that's worked on it, tinkered with it, and then sent it back, and it's gained sentience, and it wants to deliver all this information to its creator, man. But how are they going to do that? Well, it's destroying all in its path before it gets to Earth. And quite honestly, it's going to destroy Earth if it can't find the creator. If Star Trek would revisit this same sort of thing with Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. Is it 4? Yeah, it's 4, isn't it? Roman numerals were never my strong point. Which is the comedy one. And it's a fan favourite, but it's not my favourite by far. I do enjoy the movie a lot. Especially Scotty, computer. Oh, by the way. So some of my old vintage stuff from Star Trek the Motion Picture. The original vinyl album there, the original novelisation by Gene Roddenberry, although, to be honest, I think we all know who really wrote that. Mr. Alan Dean Foster. Now, I had all the original figures from this. There's Scotty. He's all that remains of all the figure collection I had from this movie. I can't find any of them ones at all. And to be honest, look at him. That's not the best look Scotty's ever had, is it? And then people argue that it's not the best look that any Star Trek character ever had. Is it Robert Fletcher who did the costume design? Yeah, they are a bit wacky, a bit way out. You've got cat suits with built-in boots. What's that about? And then not exactly friendly towards certain, well, be they female or male, body shapes. All the bits and bobs, bra straps, and a bit of sausage tucked away. It's all liberally on show. I think the one who gets away with it most of all is Ilea, the Delton sex babe Ilea, who becomes a pure marriage of woman and machine and computer programming, and a sentient, sensual device which looks amazing. And of course Decker goes for it because he always did fancy a Commander Decker. Anyway, but she has a little low cut one. It's a mini skirt sort of variation, but the uniforms are craftily weird and bizarre. And you've got Shatner with his middle-aged paunch at that stage and his super hairy forearms, and you see him in his sort of casual white captain's white t-shirt, which actually looks alright, I think, but the rest of the clobber is a little bit unusual. And you've got his grey and white sort of onesie with the white sort of, chest down the front torso section. What's all that about? And they've all got this weird sort of Teletubbies style bioscan belt buckle, which looks great. As a little prop, I think it's fantastic, but no, I haven't got one. But as a piece of kit situated around your midriff, it's a bit odd looking. The whole thing looks very odd, and yet it also looks pure dreamy and fantastical, and that's why I love the movie. So, this apparently is Star Trek the Motion Picture in here. And now, in another weird quirk, as I said about Steve Smith's tinkering, he does some great bits and bobs with artwork and manipulates it. He's put my face into some imagery in the past. Here's one for you now, just to show you what I mean. This is a fictitious movie. I mean, John Carpenter's Werewolf on the Wirral. And but if you look here, that's my face. That's my face in there. That is Oliver Reed as the Curse of the Werewolf. But that's my face. He's manipulated in there. And there's a picture of me, actually, for real, walking down the street, having been spotted by all and sundry. And that particular photo went viral. It's global. It gets sent back to me almost every day. There's someone from like Honduras or someone from, deepest, darkest Orinoco says, "Is this you? Is this you, Kilt-Man?" Yes, it is me. It is. Coming back from Asda. The weekly shop. Well, I think that's just my whiskey ration, sorry. Oh, speaking of which. Cheers, Steve. Cheers, everybody. Where this Kilt-Man has been so many times before. So, on Facebook, Steve put a picture of Star Trek the Motion Picture, and Kirk in that grey and white uniform hasn't got William Shatner's face. Oh no, doesn't look anything like that over there, Michael Myers. It's got my face. So I didn't see that for a couple of days, so I had to go and say like, "Oh my god, that's brilliant." And is that what's inside here? I wouldn't put it past him. I don't know. So let's get this this box open. Let's see what's in here. Let's see what the transporter beam delivers to us. And if you've been leading me up the wrong tree, is it what's the phrase? Leading up the garden fence? Is that it? That doesn't sound right either. If you've been telling me porcupines, and I've got all this set up like, and it is genuinely like it's Harry and the Hendersons or something like that. Anyway, here it is, folks. And this is a rarity because there's no kind of guessing game, is there? Let's get this open. You all know the BC. Wait, it's a tougher one than usual, this. There you go, we got it. Right, send it round. Now, you know what happens here. The artwork is attached to a piece of cardboard and it's all cellophaned in. So I can't see what it is. Although I can see the border and it's one of those starry borders. One of those, there's a few. There's the thing. The Star Trek 2, by the way, Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, is up there on the wall up there. Yeah, I'll razz that around so you can see. There it is, up there. Can you see? Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan. Right, let's get all the bits and bobs back in the shot. So I'm assuming now that this is Star Trek the Motion Picture. But if it isn't, I'm prepared, you know? No, I'm not. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to slit the cellophane now. Oh, God. God. And I shall reveal to you guys first and foremost. Now again, it could be upside down, it could be landscape, and I'm going to lift it up portrait, so it could be all, you know, arse about face. But here we go. Oh yeah, let's put on. I want the Klingon battle music. I love. By the way, that's why he's here. I haven't got a Klingon mask. That's Michael Myers, but we all know Michael Myers' mask is William Shatner. We've got the Mugato from the Star Trek original TV show. And I've got Bela Lugosi from White Zombie there as Mère de Legendre. But because of all this sort of hairy, you know, Fu Manchu style thing, it's a bit Klingon. Anyway. If he's lying to me, it's upside down. Oh, it is. It's the original. It's the original poster. Oh, yes. The human adventure is just beginning. Look at it. It is gorgeous. So it's not the picture. It's not what he put on Facebook. But look at that. I mean, that's outstanding. It's in plentiful array here. But those colours, those faces, and the iconic shot of the Enterprise, you know, with the beams and everything and the light. I mean, you can see where J.J. Abrams and his, you know, his penchant for lens flares, you know, really came from. He's inspired by things like this. I mean, that image there is the ultimate in lens flare, is it not? Look at it. Everything is glinting. Everything's got a sort of askew, sideways laser show going on. And the way that the colours around the font of the lettering, it's just outstanding. VJ. You know, oh, Steve, mate, that is brilliant. And you weren't lying, were you, mate? You weren't lying at all. Wow, look at that. Hang on. Look, pitch black. Pitch black. Look at that. The blaster beam there. Craig Huxley invented the blaster beam, which is a great big, huge piece of aluminium with strings arrayed across it, and you hit those strings with artillery casings and brass mallets and hammers and all sorts of things, and you get this wow, reverberating cosmic sound. But look at that. It is beautiful. It is genuinely beautiful. And that'll sit. Well, I may rearrange them actually. They're probably gonna. I'm going to move that down further down one of the halls, and put these two together. But that is so dreamy, isn't it? In fact, speaking of dreamy, we need to go and have a Vija flyover. Blaster beam again. Now the full director's cut is coming out on Blue. Can't wait. Some people are going like, oh, you don't want more footage from that? You kidding me? There's a line. I always forget if the line is just in the novelization or it's in the movie itself, because I haven't watched the director's cut for quite some time. Or did he call it the extended cut? Whatever. And you know, when they're approaching through the huge cloud, approaching the center of Vija, and they're like, you know, God, this vessel could hold a crew of 1 million, and doesn't Bone say something like, or a crew of 10 miles tall, and you're like, oh shit. Now I'm sure that's in the movie. It's definitely in the book, but anyway. Persis Kambata. That's the Delta Ilea. I'd only ever seen her in one thing outside of this movie, and that was the Stallone vehicle, Nighthawks, with Rutger Hauer as the bad guy, Wolfgar. And she's an assassin in that. And she's horrible. She kills Nigel Davenport. Bloody the great British stalwart, Nigel Davenport. Shoots him between the eyes. Bitch. But you can always blame the alien sentience which took over it. Leonard Nimoy, of course. I mean, it's a very serene sort of movie, and a lot of the fans didn't like the fact that the camaraderie and the banter was not there. It genuinely is not there amongst all the crew. A great moment is when Spock comes aboard. They've already lost another Vulcan linguist, communications expert in the transporter being fuck up, but he's going through the ceremony, the ritual of Kolinar on planet Vulcan, but he gets, because he's part human and this Vija's coming back to Earth, he senses a presence, a bloody big presence out there, and so he comes aboard the Enterprise, but he's not the same. They all turn around on the bridge. Spock, hey, it's good to see you, Spock. But he's focused. Something else out there. I've got to deal with that. I don't play well with emotions, as you already know. But you know, I'm now even more focused, and that's kind of like your clue that look, this is not going to be the big comedy fest with lots of. This won't be like a season 3 Star Trek. We're going back to the general principles of what inspired Gene Roddenberry to create Star Trek in the first place. Man's expanding understanding, a multicultural, multiracial society, purely utilitarian and almost utopian in many ways, because everyone has got a piece of the pie and we're all pushing forward to learn more. Apart from those poor guys in the red jerseys, they're still cannon fodder, you know. I used to love them in Star Trek as well. I mean, when you were playing Star Trek as a kid, I didn't pretend I was Kirk. I never pretended I was Spock. But I was always a red jersey, you know, security team member. But I'd fight back and survive, because they were the guys who were in the thick of the action the whole time. And then as I got a little bit older, a bit more acrobatic, I started doing like the William Shatner stuntman, you know, 2-footed drop kick. But that is beautiful, isn't it? I do love all of this. I mean, that original artwork is fabulous. Fabulous. And I don't think in any of the Star Trek posters that came out afterwards, they never captured that sense of wonder. There was elements of the movie were going to be in there, and there's some great posters. Star Trek 2 is fantastic. I do love, and the variations of it as well. But this is the one that really does kind of capture a spellbinding sort of feel and aesthetic. It genuinely looks futuristic, spacey and celestial, which is what the film is, you know? And it doesn't show any action, because there isn't any. But it's beautiful. It's a visual extravaganza, and it's a feast for the senses, and you know, intellectually, it actually has got a lot going for it. It's a very clever idea, that something from man's own history has gone out there where no man has gone before, learned something new, and is coming back to impart that information, because that's its mission, to do that. But there's no one left on Earth who's going to be able to comprehend where it's trying to send, and that will only lead to destruction. So it's a great big highbrow concept without being massively stupidly po-faced and intellectual about it. It has grandiose ideas, but it still does play with the stuff, the toys, the Enterprise, transporter beams, communicators, phasers. It's got all that stuff as well. And it's got a bit of sexual politics as well, with like the whole Delton thing, which is great. So although it is a big space opera, but without the sort of pyrotechnics of laser beams and people and things blowing up, although you do get that with the Klingon battle at the start, the rest of it plays it very sort of cold, not emotionless exactly, but because there's a sense of wonder to it and awe as they're approaching Vija, and then when they find out what it really is, it's a great level of sort of taking on board a highbrow concept and meshing it with an old school, comedy, action, light-hearted TV show that had big ideas in it. But as the series went on, season 2 and season 3, it would deteriorate in its sort of intellectual and intelligent style of writing and just become fun. That's not a bad thing, and it's not a bad thing, because at least Star Trek, the original series, had all of that. It evolved, some would say devolved, but it went through all of the intellectual, intelligent storytelling with lots of big cosmic ideas and some great fabulous characters and situations, and the moral. But the moral was never... people would argue this, but I don't think the morals were ever sledgehammered home. Kirk would always come to some revelation. Sometimes it'd be others around him that would come to that revelation, and he'd only witness it through them, which is another clever thing about the show. It's his show, but Spock's right up there as well, and all the core contingents of the Enterprise crew. But it did leave you, even the pure comedy knockabout farce episodes, with still a sense of like you've been somewhere, you've learned something, because you've seen your favourite characters go through this odyssey and learn something again, and it's great. I love Star Trek. I genuinely do. I did love Star Wars. Oh God, I'm not going to do this. I got told off for this last time, but I always end up going like, oh, Star Trek's great. I hate Star Wars. I don't hate Star Wars. I don't. I hate what Star Wars became, and I hate because whereas Star Trek, even at its worst, still manages to combine better written dialogue, better scripts than even Star Wars at its best. Star Wars is myth written large. It's more fantastical, more fantasy and mythology than sci-fi, whereas Star Trek is pure sci-fi. At its heart, it is going forward thinking, forward propulsive, always going to find something new and explore something new, which is the whole ethos behind the whole bloody thing, of course. Star Wars became too pompous and went up its own arse really badly. As much as I enjoy the original trilogy, and I do, I think Star Wars still remains an absolute high watermark in the genre, and it is a captivating movie because of its simplicity and its fantastic visuals. Empire Strikes Back is a darker beast, and I love it more for that, because this is not afraid to do things and to, shocks and revelations. And then you get Return of the Jedi. Oh, Jesus Christ. What, the Empire got defeated by a bunch of little fucking fairy little turds? Are you kidding me? Metaphor for Vietnam. Maybe. But fun. But nowhere near as good as the first two. And then you get the prequels. Sweet Jesus. And then you think things can get any worse. But they do. They do get worse. Oh, God. With the new movies. Travesty. Anyway, what's that got to do with Star Trek? Nothing. Star Trek also, in the huge franchise history, the movies, Next Generation, Deep Star 6, Voyage, Enterprise, all them other ones, I never bothered with. I really don't know them. I do not know them. These are the guys that I know and love and I trust. But even then, you have the likes of Final Frontier. Oh dear. But there is some fun to be had in it. Like, I know this ship like the back of my hand. Boom! Oh. It's him again. Old Montgomery Scott. There he is. Fantastic. And then you've got The Undiscovered Country, which I think is a fantastic film. It does get a bit too simplistic towards the end, you know. The whole thing can all be righted so quickly by just arriving in time. But I still do like it. There's a lot of great ideas there. And of course, you know, Kirk meeting the shapeshifter and all that and kissing himself and everything. I mean, it's taking the piss. And it was about time that he did that. So I don't mind all that. Then you've got, what's it called? The one where oh no, what is it? Not Next Generation. Star Trek Generations. Oh, I can't stand it. Oh, I just can't stand it now. No, not at all. But then again, I wasn't a fan of The Next Generation, so seeing them coming into it. That said, First Contact is outstanding because it's an action movie. It's an action propulsive, genuinely like threatening, full of set pieces, full of knee-jerk, hair-trigger escapes and sort of remedies to scenarios. It's great. It is great. And that's the one where I thought, do you know what? I might get on board this particular Enterprise with this crew. Although I tried to get into the series Next Generation, and I just couldn't do it. Some fit women in it, like, but you know, that's not enough. Not always enough. But there you go. Star Trek, the motion picture, outstanding. I'm just looking at the seat. Have you morphed my face into that anywhere? It's probably, I'm too close to it and I can't see, but you guys are probably seeing there's a great big silly Kilt-Man floating in the cosmos with his kilt up over his head. Fantastic. Steve, mate, cheers. It is what we thought it was, and you didn't lie. You didn't set me up. You could have done. You could have done. I wouldn't have blamed you if you had. But that's brilliant, mate. Cheers. I shall now raise another dram to you, sir, and to everybody else. That we're all doing very, very well. Cheers and bravo to you all. So, I somehow seem to have turned Scotty's head. He's like leaning forward and looking the other way. It's like he's looking for a train coming down the tunnel. You know, where's that fucking train? Oh, computer, engineering. The train's not running on the fully replenished lithium crystals. That's why it's late. Anyway, folks, I have been, always shall be Kilt-Man. So please, in the meantime, in this ever spectral, celestial in-between time, please try to keep it Celtic, try to keep it Celtic, and just be happy, y'all, because that's the name of the game. Too much ill in the world, too much. But if you can just take half an hour out and watch a Kilt-Man video, things might just be a little bit better. Just a little bit. It's just a distraction to keep us all entertained, keep us all happy. Because God knows we need it. So folks, I am going to see you all. Blaster beam. Laters. I do want a blaster beam. Him as a blaster beam. It is a wonderful, wonderful, rich, colourful, fully orchestral score, but with all these little bits of sci-fi noodlings. Anyway, I'm going to see you all later.